Got him, huh?
And here's the second crew, yep.
I thought you had everything packed. Looks like a goodie bag. Looks like a goodie bag to me. Got to have something to eat. Linda's getting the start of the trip. She's starting along for us. But you don't live with us. I like your t-shirt.
Been hunted all night long.
That's right.
Good, fine. How are you?
Good. Got it?
Okay, here's the rig, and they're going to be pulling out here in just a little while.
What?
This is the road coming into our elk camp. As you can see, it's just a plain old dirt road. Got a lot of rocks and stuff crammed in it. Dropped a lot of rocks and logs in this road here to keep most of the people out. This is located inside of an old clear cut that was logged back in the late 60s. This is some of the timber type that's coming in on it now. This is kind of just a broad view from right from our base camp here, looking out over the horizon. This is my truck parked in front of our camp that we've got built up here. We set our camp up in the edge of the old unit timber sale here in Van Buren. You can see we got a big fly set up in here. That is to get underneath and do our cooking in. This is located right at the end of an old logging spur that came into this Van Buren timber sale unit. Pretty heavy timber and everything around here. You're looking at some of the timber right around our camp spot here. Brother Billy Joe's standing there trying to get the fire going. All he's doing is getting smoke. Better wave there, brother Billy Joe. Tell everybody hi.
Hi, everybody.
I'm zipping in on Billy there.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, he's been getting our camp all set up, getting it worked out here.
Kenny's trying to get his sleeping bag.
Yeah, Kenny's trying to get his sleeping bag set up, he said. As you can see, we got our tent and stuff set inside there. Back it off just a tad. Got our tent set in there. Got our there's Kenny. Wave to him, Kenny. Yeah, I'll zoom in on Kenny here. There's old Kenny boy.
Look at these pretty mountains.
He's getting ready to kill a big elk there, brother Leroy. We haven't had breakfast, so we haven't blessed our food yet this morning. But we've seen this morning so far. We've seen 2 herds of elk. One nice bull, we could definitely pick him out. Then we had another smaller bull bugling at us. That's cook stove set up inside there. Some of our gear underneath the fly here. Got this fly all set up. Yeah, that's our stove. Usually use a Coleman stove, but I had this thing fixed up for this trip here. Okay, now I'm going to kind of give you a look at some of the scenery here just outside the camp. This is one of the mountain ranges on the other side. Looking right from our camp here, you can see looking off down the canyon here and overlooking some of the mountains. Bring it on around. You can't see too much right now because you got those trees around camp. We're pretty well set up at camp now. Kenny's cooking us some dinner. Billy Joe's getting his rifle and everything ready. Of course, he's going to have to wait a little while before he can use that rifle. Season's about another 5 days off. Kenny built a pretty good fire. It only took him about, I'd say an hour to get it going to flaming. It was pretty smoky there, but now you can see he's got a good fire going. I don't know what kind of fireman he's going to be, but now I'm zeroing in. You're going to see we're going to have some dinner here. He's got a pot of beans already cooking with a big old ham hock stuck in that thing. So he said we're going to eat. If for nothing else, we're going to eat. Yeah, and then we got another shot of our tent and our sleeping area all set up here. Billy Joe's driving some more nails, getting thing all set up. I noticed I got our wood pile all done now. We got our wood cut up, and underneath the tent fly here, in case rain comes, we're ready. We'll have that all dry and we'll be comfortable. And anyway, this is kind of the way it looks like around camp here in the middle of the day. We're going to go off and check some elk out here in a few hours. This is a trail that we go out. Actually, it's an old logging road's what it was. It's been closed for years. And you can kind of see it as we walk down it here a ways, how it looks. But anyway, this is what we go out in the morning, early in the morning, on an old logging skid road here. We go back in for a few miles before we get into the elk country. You look on down through here, you can see again how it looks going down the way. Hopefully we'll be packing elk down this pretty soon. A lot of these old logs and trees and things you see across the road here, I put them in this road here a few years back. I drug all the rocks and boulders off the hillside, put a lot of logs in here, things like that, you know, that would deter people from going into it. As you can see down there, we get into some more down stuff, little trees growing in this thing now. But that's how it looks as you're going down this trail. This is just a shot of what some of the elk country looks like as you're going down through the draws. You can see she's awful thick in there. A lot of brush, ground cover, heavy thick timber. A lot of downfall, wind blown areas. Now what we're looking at is an area that I've got down here in the brush. I've got a food cache and stuff that I cache down here. You can kind of see now there's a blue tarp laying there. But I dig holes and I bury 50-gallon drums and cache things. If you look in there, I'll try to bring it up. But there's a dug area right behind that plastic bag there. Then there's a hole. And inside of that's where I put all the gear and bury it. We just got here to this camp, and I undug that and had some soda pop that's been buried for well over 2 years in here. We all had a cold soda pop. And you look at a lot of the downfall, vegetation and stuff in the area here, how it looks. Real heavy, real thick. But it's elk country. Okay, what we got here is a trail coming back into camp. We've been out doing a little bit of scouting, and this is coming back down the trail to our camp. Our camp will appear here in a few minutes. Around the corner, it should start showing up. There it is. Anyway, that's the back side of our camp as we're coming in from the west side. Look at that majestic view there on the other side of camp. You look out through there, that's some of the Idaho country. You're going to really appreciate it. I'll zoom it in here. See the mountains out there and where our camp's set up from behind. That one mountain I'm coming in on right now is called Round Top Mountain. Looks like it's got a road around the top. It doesn't. That's just the way it is. But this is the view we see each morning. Having a cup of coffee in our hand, looking out over the mountains here in Idaho. Here's Brother Billy and Brother Kenny standing. Yeah, singed all the hair off his arms, he said. Standing outside the camp here. See the mountains behind them. Everything looking pretty good there. Well, I'll back up here a little bit. I'm looking out from inside the fly here. Umbrella Butte, Billy just said, pointed out. I'll zoom in on it. Heaven. And heaven up there above, Kenny said. Now there's Umbrella Butte coming in right on the horizon. Now I'll go up to it. There it is right there. That you're looking at Umbrella Butte. Alright. And back in underneath here. Taking kind of a picture now inside. This is a cook stove that I set up. Took that out of an old camper. Kenny's got coffee pot going and corn on top of it. Got our wood in here, our lanterns and everything underneath. Come around to... Boy, you ought to see the food we got in this camp, Linda. I'm telling you, these Tennesseans do eat. We got about $300 worth of food, and Kenny said he's going to eat 250 of it. And he's really been starting out on it too, let me tell you. But anyway, let's just look inside the camp here. Our gear and what have you. We got the covers you're seeing right there. And then you turn around, and back of the cover is the tent. And inside the tent we've got our gear all set up. Got our sleeping areas inside the tent. You can kind of see that. Kenny's on the right and Brother Billy on the left. They put me down here by the door so I can take care of every one of the bears. As the bear come in, I get to take care of that. But anyway, you're looking at camp here. That's kind of a view of everything right from underneath the tent here. That's just another view of some of the area outside of our camp here. Looking off over to the horizon, you see some big clear cuts where they've cut out of the heavy timber. Like I say, it's just kind of a view of the area around here. That old clear cut right there, I burnt that thing back about 1990. We burnt that out. That's part of the old Huckleberry Mountain timber sale. Some of the other areas we'd all burn out. You burn these and they come back within about 15 years. They'll have a fair amount of cover on them. Elk move in and feed on a lot of those things. Early in the morning, late in the evening. Sometimes you'll catch an elk in it. Most of the time you catch them off out here in this heavy timber. And then it's a pack out to get them back in. The view of the road going in to our camping area. You see the truck sitting up there on top of the ridge. And tent's just the other side of that. But I have taken and put a lot of rocks and boulders and logs and stuff like that in this old road here, just to kind of slow people down from coming in. It dead ends, as I say, right up there where the truck's at. You're looking around some of the timber around our camp, up the ridge here, back up the top of the hill, some of the trees and what have you like that. And just kind of a view, really, of what it looks like coming into the camp. A little bumpy on some of all these rocks and everything as I'm walking up the road here, trying to bring you in. Come on up the road again, as I said, back into camp. Starting to see a little bit of the camp coming around the corner up here. You see that big garbage can right there? That's one that I bury out here and put some of the gear I leave in camp. Put inside that and then bury them about 3-4 foot in the ground. Everything stays in pretty good shape. While you get it in the underground all covered up, it doesn't freeze down too deep. This is the trail going into the old Florence Cemetery located out here in Florence Basin in the Idaho country where we're going to go hunting. We had a little bit of a break. Got our camp all set up. Hunting season hadn't opened yet. So I was just showing them some of the areas around out here. This old cemetery is in a gold town. The gold rush of Florence was in about 1870s. And this is the way into the cemetery here. They've built a new bridge since I was here. It used to just be an old trail going into it, plus they put a fence around it. I'm coming across the bridge now, walking into the cemetery. See Billy Joe up ahead there. I see they put a fence around it since I was here the last time too. In the in the trail going right on into the cemetery. Located right in the ponderosa pine, or the lodgepole pine trees. A lot of Chinese were buried in here, but they've taken all the Chinese out. I think about the 20s or so, they took them out and sent them back to China. They felt their spirits wouldn't rest until they were back in their home soil. So the government buried, or unearthed them and sent them back, and they exhumed all of the graves. This is the exhumed graves right on this side of the cemetery of the Chinese miners. Buried here on the slopes. A lot of bare grass in here now. Pretty steep in some places. And as you see, the trees. It's all grown up. Some of the gravestones of the people that are still in here. James Mosier. Here's a Morris in here too, J.B. Morris. He was a postmaster here apparently and had the livery stable here at Florence. As you notice, a lot of people, the miners, they died very young. It's very harsh out here. There's only one baby that's buried out here, I think. This man here died of exposure in 1918, and then they found his remains in 1931. There's a lookout, an old Forest Service lookout named after him, Seaberg Lookout. But a few of the graves just scattered out through the bare grass here amongst the lodgepole pine. Some of them, as you can see, it says unknown on them. There is some fair records of things that were kept here. Hey, Billy Joe! Yeah, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, I know to be a Morris in here.
Yeah. There's old Kenny. He's waiting to get out back on the elk. Last night he had 3 bulls bugling at one time. He said he thought that was pretty neat. Just a quiet graveyard located out here in the mountains and next to the wilderness. Okay, what I've got here is an old log cabin that Billy Joe and Kenny's about ready to move into. When they get ready to send for their families back in Idaho, this is where they're going to start out at. Haven't found a church building for Brother Leroy yet, but anyway, we did find an old cabin here. We'll start out in this old cabin here. Might have to put a couple of windows in it, cut some firewood, maybe a little bit of work on the roof. Roof looks like it could have a little bit of work done on it, a couple of holes here and there. So you girls get ready to move to Idaho. Here's your new home, located in the wilderness. Thing I forgot to put in is the modern plumbing in the bathroom sets right out back in the forest here. This is a shot of the bathroom. Might want to do some work on the door. Got Brother Billy down there looking at an old mining ditch. Billy said he thinks there's some gold in these hills. He thinks he might try to find a gold nugget. You find any gold down there, Billy? Oh, okay, we can probably pan down there, huh? This is Kenny walking over the cliff at the head of Allison Creek drainage. We're standing up the top here at about, right around 7,000 feet. We're not getting any real good pictures of the country here today because it's kind of hazy. They had a fire in here this summer that burnt right around 2,000 acres. Matter of fact, it was on TV. It showed it from McCall, and it burned all the way from McCall over on the Payette Forest, clear back in here, and there's some smoke right there. You can see the smoke in the picture. That's part of that fire. There's about 200 miles of unbuilt line in here, and of course the only thing that's going to put this fire out now, this is late in the year, this is October, but the snow and the winter rains will put it out. But that's why it's so smoky looking off out through here. Normally you can see for miles. Again, that's some of the fire and the smoke plumes burning from it out there. Very large fire. The country's very rugged, very steep, and it's almost impossible in places to even get into to build fire lines. But we're standing up here pretty close to my favorite spot, on top of the mountain, where you can see out clear across the horizon. That's Patrick Butte right there, above the Salmon River country, looking off down the canyon here again, down Allison Creek, from the top. Steep, rugged outcrops. Looking off towards Oregon now. And the Snake River is just on the horizon over there on the other side of the Salmon River. And coming back on up the ridge, going up towards Chair Point Lookout. It's back behind that butte, you can't see it. I'm going to try to bring the fires in a little bit on some of the smoke. I'm focusing in on it. That's some of the plume on some of the smoke right there. You're looking at way out there. Still freely burning. There's Kenny coming up the hill now. He's just about straight down below me. Say hi to the people, Kenny.
Hey! Where they at?
Kenny's going to be packing these elk up this ridge here.
Where they at? Are they over fighting that fire now?
This is my very special place that I've got right on top of the mountain here, out here in Idaho. Looking at this boulder right here is my altar up on top of the mountain. I've knelt down right here at this big boulder many times and prayed. It's a place where I've been able to get away from all of it. Standing up here, you can see for miles. You can see all the way into Oregon. You can see the beautiful country of Idaho. Used to be a lookout here back in the 30s. Long gone now. Very few trees up here on top. Looking out again from the top of the mountain here. Out over the mountain ranges surrounding Idaho. I'm looking up the Salmon River country now. Looking to the east. Again, you see the burn way off over there. Coming down the Salmon River, working back towards the south, southeast. Going on down the Salmon River now, more to the west. Looking across over towards Chair Point Lookout, which would be southwest of here. This range of mountains you see back over here now are what they call the Devils. They're right on the Oregon border. Snake River's on the other side of that, and Salmon River's on this side. Again, I'm looking back around over towards Oregon. And up the road now, an old four-wheel drive road, towards my altar on top of the mountain here. See Brother Billy Joe walking down the road here.
But it is beautiful.
From the old lookout spot. Kenny standing up there in the old lookout area. Right on top of this rock here, I carved a cross. I'll walk on up on it. I'm coming around the back side of the rock. But up here on top, I carved this cross in the rock here. I'll try to get a picture of it. But anyway, this is right on top of the rock, and you can see that cross right there. I carved that cross up here about 8 years ago when my mother passed away. This is some of the trees right next to the rock. Coming up now, looking off over the top of the ridge, looking out towards the prairie, be north and east of this point that we're on. There's Kenny again on top of the old lookout site here, looking more or less north now. Right on top of my old altar on top of this mountain.
Wood on top of this right here?
Yeah, it used to be a cabin built on top of that, Kenny. I'm looking west again, down the Salmon River from the top of the mountain here.
Oh, pretty.
Wind's blowing up here. It's pretty cool today. Here again is some of the old lookout side. Again, right up on top of the lookout, looking north. And this is a little lake that I used to walk down into to go fishing. Right down below Kenny, I'm zeroing in, trying to bring it in. Full of lily pads. Got excellent golden trout fish. Not too many people know about that. Walk into that one. Okay, I'm going back up, and this is some of the elk country we hunt in. This is Van Buren Creek drainage. That's where we're hunting at, is down through there. As you can see, she's pretty well timbered up, a few natural openings, some clear cuts, no roads. We have to walk all through that country in there, through trails. Lots of big elk in there. We've already been out scouting for 2 days, and we've already seen probably 8-10 bulls. Last night we saw 4 bulls in one group. 1 spike, a 2-point, and we think one was a 5-point and then a big 6-point. This is looking over at the Gospel Hump Wilderness now. off to the north of us there. That's a wilderness area of about 2 million acres in size. There's absolutely only one way to get in there, and that's to walk or go in by horses. So you can see she's pretty rugged. Going back into Lookout from the north side, as you can see, it's just rock outcroppings here. There's the old base of the lookout that Billy's standing on there. This is where that 2020 program, one of the scenes, was shot from. You spend many hours up here. Just come up and sit down, talk to the Lord from here. You can see it's real steep from here, looking down off this cliff that I'm standing on. This is the elk country we're going to be hunting in. This is a vantage point that we have from a road that we're looking over Van Buren drainage. And this is the area we're going to be going into Monday morning. This point I'm zooming in right now is where we're going to be at early Sunday morning for our Sunday morning services, right on top of the mountain there. You look off down in through here. Again, this is some of the beautiful scenery in Idaho, all timbered country. Few natural openings, and then coming across, these are some old clear cuts on the Van Buren timber sale. It was logged in the 60s. I'm going to try to zoom in here and see if we can pick out maybe our camp that we've got set up over on the ridge. It's just dead center of the picture right now. I'm bringing it in. You might be able to pick up a little bit of yellow right in this area right here. And that's where we... Again, that's the camp area right there. We've been picking elk up on some of these open units the last few days, but this morning we haven't seen anything, but that's not unusual. The hunters are starting to come in the area now. And as soon as they come in the area, the elk move back. Come around here, there's Brother Billy. He's got his binoculars out trying to find that big one he's going to shoot Monday morning. And there's Kenny. He's got himself a new set of, got himself a little spotting scope there. He's trying to spot that big one that he's going to sneak in on. Then standing in the pickup bed, there's my buddy Scott. Hey Scott, turn around here. Linda wants to see your face. Give us a big smile. Where'd Tommy go? He down the hill here somewhere? Anyway, I'll move around and see if we can find Tommy. There he is. He's sitting back here trying to pick out that big old bull too. All decked out there with his cold weather gear. Hey Tommy, turn around and say hi to Linda. Back at camp again about 4 days later. Billy and Kenny are getting ready to head out and carry some stuff into one of the drop camps we got set up. I'm going to carry some of their personal stuff in there. They'll be packing up here in a minute and headed out. It's about, probably a 3-mile pack back into this drop camp they're going to now. This is, say, base camp they're coming out of. Carrying a few things in there today that we need to get back in there. Old mountain man Billy Joe loading up here, getting his pack on. Tommy's giving him a hand, buckling that thing in. They'll go out and drop this stuff off and be back here this afternoon by 3 o'clock. We don't want to stay out in the elk area too late. So we'll be back in about 3 o'clock this afternoon, have camp all set up. Billy Joe's ready to go. I hope he's smiling like that when he gets back. He's got a chaw on his mouth and he's ready to head out.
Get in there,
So
Scott.
they'll be headed down, going out to the drop camp.
Scott, get in there and get a picture. Come on here, get in here.
Come on, Scott.
Get in there with him. Get in there.
Now we got
Scott, get a little closer from me.
Clint Eastwood or whoever it is just walked out to the fireplace there.
2 more sleeps, Brother Ed. 2 more sleeps.
2 more sleeps, right, and then we can shoot them.
Where's the logging path they're going to get on?
They're going down that old fire line down through here, down there to the clear cut.
It's just going to get no better than this.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Heading out to camp. You're sitting back thinking how you going to get that big bull sitting back thinking how he's going to stay away from him.
Here we got Scott and Tommy getting their backpacks all ready to go. On these backpacks we carry our game bags, some survival gear. If we have to stay out overnight, we've got a little tube tent, a little fly, and we got our game bags. We've got about 7 game bags in here. We'll carry some mountain freeze-dried food that we use in an emergency. We carry about a day's worth supply of that. Canteen, first aid kit, matches, candle, different things like that that we have with us that if we have to spend the night, at least we'll be. The time is Sunday morning, October the 9th, 1994. We just had our Sunday morning services here on top of this mountain. Scott Bowman, Tommy Bowman, Kenny Creasy, and Billy Joe Perry, my brothers in Christ and my dear friends. Such a moving experience this morning. Brother Billy brought us the word this morning about a mountaintop experience. About Moses going up on top of the mountain and the God speaking through him through the burning bush. About Abraham sacrificing his son and God preserving him. About Noah and about our dear Lord Jesus Christ who was crucified upon top of a mountain. It was such a moving experience this morning to be out here. I praise God for it. We're having a wonderful time. We're going to be going hunting in the morning. Being able to move out in God's garden, as I like to say, and maybe even a harvest. While all 4 of you get together up there, I'd like to get a picture of you here. Tommy, would you move up there? Anyway, these are the men on top of the mountain this morning, boy. I'll tell you, look at those guys up there. Big smiles on their face. Bushy old beard on Brother Billy Joe Big Bear. Praise God. Now we got it.
I like it.
Boy.
I like it. This is Ed Moss's turn. Scott's manning the machine. One danger.
We got Scott. Boy, I tell you, I don't know what kind of pictures we're going to get now.
Be careful, don't fall off the edge over there.
There he
I'm
is.
determined to get Ed on that thing.
We got him good this time.
All right.
You get him, bud? Hey, on top of the mountain with a word. There you go. Amen.
Thank you, partner. I'm looking off over into Oregon now from the special point on top of the mountain up here. We've got a lot of smoke and haze again today. They said we just had Sunday services here on top of the mountain. And we was up here the other day but this is day before season opens. We're looking at what they call the Seven Devils off out there on the horizon. Of course, up here where we're at, we're up here in Jesus' area. We're over near the Gospels. But that's the Seven Devils looking off out over Idaho. The Snake River is just the other side of that. Looking on down the ridge from where we're at, Southwest Butte. And I'm going to come around the corner here, and there's a little lookout. Might be able to pull it in pretty close. There it is right there. That's Chair Point Lookout sitting way down there. Now I'm going to shoot it on out to where it looks like it's, get a good overview of the scenery in the country. Coming on up, going back up the Salmon River again, working back to the east. Now we're going to start getting into more smoke. That fire across on the Payette is really smoking up, and there's an inversion this morning. The smoke's setting down here in the bottom of the canyon in the valley. It's pretty hard to see. I'm zooming in down on the Salmon River country, which is way below us now. Getting another overlook. Again, you look in the canyons and see all the smoke. Coming, working on east. Millions and millions of acres of just remote wilderness land out through there without any roads in it. It's beautiful. Coming on around now and looking back up the road here towards the lookout point where we just had our Sunday morning services here on Sunday the 9th day of October 1994. Again, this is my special spot, what I call my altar on top of the mountain. And on top of this rock is where the cross is carved. An old spruce tree sitting here. They don't get very big because it's a very harsh environment. Snow gets very deep in here. Linda and I camped out one night up here about 4 years ago. Felt like you could reach up and just touch the stars. Matter of fact, we had a little campfire sitting right there, just on the edge of the cliff. Come back around, another spruce tree sitting in here. Going back over towards now the Gospels. Try to bring them in a little bit. It's awful hazy in there today.
Recording,
And it doesn't show nothing
okay.
except record.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, that's a pretty view. That's not.
A little faster than last time, Paul. You guys never seen nothing today?
No, I never saw nothing but one moose.
Really?
This is Ed Morris, just back from a 3-mile hike from Kenny and Billy Joe's camp with some meat and some nice set of deer horns.
Thank you. Ain't nothing like it, Brother Ed.
Amen to that. Tell them about your pack out there today, Billy.
Oh man, I tell you what, I believe if I had 50 pound on it, I had 100.
What'd you have for dinner today?
Had today, after we got back here, I had liver and onions and gonads,
And hard?
and heart and potatoes. It's great, but last 3 days it's been peanuts and M&Ms.
I thought they were called lerps.
Yeah, lerps. That's what Mountain House lerps.
Tell them a little bit about your last 3 days.
Well, last 3 days we went out Sunday, and we got our sleeping bags in and everything and settled in for the night. Then we hunted Monday and Tuesday, and then we backpacked back in today, which is Wednesday. It was all right. I mean, you know, at nighttime, when it gets 7 o'clock, and you know there's nothing to do. I could go to bed because Sergeant Carter here won't let us have no fire. and after that, you know, we go to bed and we sleep all night. And then next morning, Kenny killed a 5-point, which is Western count, pretty good deer. and just seen just a few elk, nothing moving a whole lot. Got hunters back there. And other than that, it's been a pretty good 3 days. It was rough coming back out today because we had to bring back a load back out, and we made it back, and we're going to get ready to go again here in the morning.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
We've got to clean up here in a few minutes.
This is about the 6th day we got a snowstorm in here the other day. Quite a bit of it's all melted off now. But you look back over on the horizon and you can see the snow in the high country today, bringing in on some of these open cuts. Been getting pretty cold. Everything's been going well. We've got 3 elk down now and 1 deer. We're going out this afternoon. We had church services this morning, Brother Leroy. You can see the snow again, and the larch trees are starting to turn gold now. Getting their winter color, and they'll start losing their needles here in a short period of time. This is the trail coming into where we're camped at, getting pretty rough and muddy now. Coming back up around top of the ridge here above our camp. I'm going to come back in on camp again now. We got all the sleeping bags and everything out, drying out. We've had a lot of snow and rain. These little old cheap nylon tents, they get pretty wet. We've been keeping a lot of wood in camp though, keeping a big fire going at night. Just getting through with a little dinner here. Hey Tommy, how's dinner today?
Okay.
What'd you have?
Chili.
I thought you had some liver today. No liver sandwich? Billy Joe, did you have a liver sandwich?
It was gonads.
Gonads. Boy, you're looking like a mountain man there, Billy Joe.
Had a good service today.
Yeah, we did have a good service today, didn't we?
Amen.
What was the message today so Brother Leroy knows we're not slacking off here?
Today, the title of today's message was Coming Off the Mountain.
Coming off the mountain. What was the title last Sunday?
Mountaintop Experience.
Mountaintop Experience. Okay, praise the Lord. We've been having a good time here out in the Lord's garden.
Scott's trying to hide.
Scott's trying to hide. I think Scott thinks that we're going to steal his spirit if we get a picture of him. We cut up this wood this morning. We're going to have enough wood for another 4 days. Started burying a few of our caches. But they don't know where they're at. They'll never find them. Scott, is the coffee hot yet? Turn around here, Scott. Let me see your face. Turn around here, Scott. I don't... Hey, turn around here. I got half your ugly face. Let me have the other half. If they're going to get to see half of it, let's see the other half. Well, good. Pour me a cup, would you?
My chili's good. Woo! I eat another bowl.
Tommy's going to go get our horns here in a minute. We're going to take a picture of what we got in camp so far. Okay, kind of move around a little bit. Hold your horns up. Hold them over your head so I can see them. Get them up. Get them up. Come on. All right, hold it just a second. This is Kenny here. Hold them up there. Come on. All right. Okay. Yeah. Way to go there, Mountain Man Billy. Got a little smoke. Turn a little sideways, Billy. Okay, Scott. Okay, Scott. Hey, Scott, he's going to get you now, man.
Put that thing on your head, Scott.
Yeah, put it up there, Scott. What do you think of that, huh? Huh? Get it back, zoom back a little here. Yeah. Okay, look at that backdrop we got here. What a beautiful picture. A little smoke drifting in from our campfire. Yeah, 4 Christian brothers. Tommy's even growing a set of horns right now. Hey, Tommy. Yeah, boy. Last time I seen something over your head was a frog, Tommy.
I remember that.
Hey, you remember that, huh?
Wetting all over me.
Hey, Kenny, you having a good time?
Fine time.
Good.
Like one more elk being done.
There you go. That's a nice deer there, too. Billy Joe,
Yeah.
what do you think about this situation?
Well, you know, if I get my knees back, I think I'll be all right.
Good. Oh, and where'd Scott go? There he is. Look at that smile, that old cowboy team. Woo! How's the Cowboys doing, Scott?
Oh, they're doing good.
They're doing good. What do you think of this hunting, Scott?
It don't get no better than
Oh,
this.
okay.
Hey Scott, we want everybody back home to know that this is Bull Moose right here. Bull Moose.
You got it, buddy? We're gonna do the war dance.
Hey, this is Moose Lodge of the Rockies.
Right. Out of the Lord's garden. Woo-wee. Almost be, I tell you.
How about that?
Mm-mm.
Oh boy.
Got it, buddy?
Yep. Scott.
Okay, we can quit posing, I guess.
Yeah, let me get some pictures going.
Oh, okay.
Here. Okay.
Give me one big smile.
Well, we got one more day to go, and we're kind of tearing up camp today. It's supposed to snow again tonight, so we're getting most of the tarps off the top. The stuff that's going to get snowed on, we're starting to tear it down now. Had a good hunt, had a good fellowship. Lord's been real good to us. We've taken 3 bulls in our group so far. We should have had 5. A couple guys kind of delayed action on a couple of bulls. This morning went out and got into a herd but couldn't find the bull. Snuck into him early this morning. All I found was the cows. Couldn't find anything with horns on it. But we've had a good hunt. We've taken 3 bulls in the group and 1 nice deer. 3 bulls, Scott. We got 2 already in this camp. The other one got 1. That's the 3rd one. When I went to school, that was 3 now. Yeah. We get Scott. Scott, look in here. Hey, Scott. How many bulls we got now, Scott? How many, Scott? Hey, Scott, how many bulls we got?
Bull-loney.
Bull-loney, yeah.
That's all we got, bull-loney.
You got bull wings back there. Did you scare him?
If you remember, Greg and him got 1. That's the 3rd one.
That ain't our camp, though.
That's our group. There's old Tommy boy getting this one all laid out. Get it all cleaned up here. Won't be much left of this camp in a little bit of while.
You want to let this dry out some?
Is it wet pretty bad?
There's some spots that needs to dry a few minutes. It won't take that long.
All right, let her dry a few minutes because we'll be burying that.
All right, you want the black one?
Yeah, take the black one down. We'll use that to cover up the stuff that's left if it rains and snows tonight. But we need to get it down.
All right. What do you want to do? Take the black one down, cover the stuff here gets rain and snow.
Take the black one down. Take the black one down. Got Marcel take the black one down. Aye, sir.
Hey, let's stand attention and salute when you talk like that, Brother Billy. There you go. You got it now.
Put it on, Billy Joe. Where you at?
Hey, where's Kenny at? Is he still primping?
No,
Is-
he's always present.
Is Kenny still primping or is he eating?
Them clothes just got soaked. We're gonna bury those pack frames, the ones I'm using. Scott.
Hey Scott, let's get that stove cleaned up now.
Right away, Cam.
Get that mouse out of there too. Taking another shot of the view outside of our camp here, looking out over the mountains. Snow's mostly gone off, the first snow that we got now. You notice the larch has already started turning gold in color. They do that. There's Umbrella Butte. But the larch loses all of its needles. It's the only evergreen, as I said, that loses its needles, that turns gold like this, and then it loses its needles. This is a view right from the camp, standing right here out of the edge of the camp. We've hunted down through these valleys here.
We had a toilet paper. Be sure to put that on. Them on this cologne is spam. Billy Joe? No. Piece of chunky. Gotta go feed Alvin.
Alvin's our pet chipmunk. Yeah, I'm on my way home now. I left Grangeville this morning. This is the Locksaw River between Idaho and Montana. Beautiful river, just as crystal clear as can be. I'm about probably 20 miles from Montana now. Headed on up and getting ready to move into Montana today. It's good trout fishing in here, and steelhead also. They say it's a real pretty river. Road follows this river for about 60 miles. Some of the timber along it. It's kind of a foggy day today. Had a little rain last night. I'm looking up the slopes, the timbered slopes here. Now I'm coming back down to the river again. I'm going to back up here a little bit and get a picture of the truck as we're headed up the road towards Montana and on towards Tennessee. Probably make it over the other side of Bozeman, somewhere around there tonight.